Jerry Info. I am Kala Dakoru Batibor, and it's my pleasure having you on the show. Right now, we want to look at, still staying with the local government issue in Rivers State. We want to look at the legal implications of the governor's directive. And we will look at it alongside Liborous Oshoma, who is a lawyer and a socio-political commentator, and is joining us via the phone. It does not reside in Port Harcourt, so yeah, I do think, or does not reside in River State, and so he will be helping us look into the legal issues, what the Constitution says regards this very issue. Now, if you have been following the show from when we kick-started today, you would have heard me say that the governor, His Excellency Sasim Nalai Fubara, has given order or the directive that heads of local government areas take over local government councils because the administration of the 23 local government chairmen have expired. So welcome, Barrister Oshoma. Welcome on the show. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure. All
right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, and it's a pleasure having you on the show. Okay, so the very first question I want to throw at you, what do you make of the governor's directive that heads of local government areas should take over the council secretariat? Is that known by law in Nigeria, or is that known to law in Nigeria?
First and foremost, we're getting to this situation because we'll have a situation where most state governments treat local government election as an aberration. So they conduct local government election when they deem fit. So that's why you find out anytime the tenure of local government chairmen or political office holders at elected officers at the local government level expires, it now becomes the responsibility of the heads of the local government. So what the government has done, it's just in practice what is obtainable in Nigeria, and most especially what governs government has done by virtue of the various local government administration laws made by the State House of Assemblies pursuant to Section 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
Okay, so you're saying we're here because elections have not been held, and local government don't treat, or rather, state governors don't treat local governments like they should. But we are where we are now in River State, and we are at this crossroad. Do you think this is legal? Heads of local government taking charge. They are civil servants. They work for the local government, and as it is said in law, there is no vacuum, right? So they have to fill in the space, the vacancy left by the expiration of the local governments. I really want to get your thoughts on this.
Yes, certainly. You see, if you look at the Constitution, the entire gamut of the Constitution, the functions of the powers of the federal government, the Federal House of Assembly, that's the National Assembly, which is the Senate and the House of Rep, are clearly defined. The powers of the governors, the powers of the State House of Assemblies, the powers of agency at the state levels are clearly defined. But for the local government, the Constitution simply just guaranteed a democratically elected local government at the state level, and now leave the powers for making laws for those local government, under the purview of the State House of Assembly. So that Nigeria don't have elected local government officers. So Rivers State has joined to be the 18th, states. About 17 states do not have local government elected officials. So Rivers State has joined as the 18th state. So if it were elections, the way the Constitution clearly defines how states should be governed, before the expiration of the tenure of government, and so there is no vacuum. New rules are sworn in. But at the local government level, that's not the case. So you find out that by virtue of Section 7, that same Section 7 that says that guarantees a democratically elected local government, and now puts the administration of the local government at the purview of the State House of Assembly. So what the governors had done is, when laws are for the administration of local government, they decide when to conduct elections into those local governments. In most cases, you have caretaker committees are appointed, even though the courts, the Supreme Court recently, you remember, the Federal Attorney General approached the Supreme Court for autonomy for local government, and that there should be no caretaker committees at the local government level, and that governors should be made to conduct local government tenure of the outgoing. So, but the Supreme Court to decide that one, even though in the case of Ekiti, the state governor and the Argon in Ekiti, then during the tenure of Kayode Fayemi, the Supreme Court had ruled that Kayode Fayemi had no right or no power under the administration of local government laws in Ekiti then to sack the local government. But in the case of Rivers State, the local government chairmen are not sacked. Their tenure had constitutionally expired. And so in the absence of any election to those offices, once their tenure expired, it is their responsibility to vacate the office. They don't even need to wait for the governor to issue a proclamation or an executive order asking them to hand over to the most senior officials at the local government level. Once your tenure expires, ordinarily you hand over, to the most senior elected official. And also, I must quickly say this: there is nowhere in the entire gamut of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and there is also nowhere in the local government administration laws of Rivers State where the State House of Assemblies are empowered to extend the tenure of sitting local government. There is a timeline for occupying the offices, and once it lapses, you conduct another election. It is like the National Assembly extending the tenure of state governors. It's an aberration. So once their tenure had lapsed, it is a constitutional responsibility of these office holders to hand over powers to the most senior. But I would love a situation in Nigeria where, before the expiration of the tenure of local government chairmen, we would have a constitutional amendment process that, just like you have at the state and at the federal level, before the expiration of the tenure of these local government officials, another local government election would have been conducted almost immediately, so that as their tenure is expiring, new local government chairmen are being sworn in. Once that is done, then we won't have this debate of whether they should be handing over to anybody at the state, at the local government office, because automatically their tenure had lapsed. Except those that won re-election, that will be coming back, and those that didn't win, other local government chairmen will take over. So that's basically that.
So you've brought up a very crucial issue, and that is that there is nowhere in the law that allows the House of Assembly, that is responsible for administration of administrative purposes of local government, or administrative functions of local government, for them to extend the tenure of local government chairman. However, it was done in Rivers State, and there is the Justice Q pronouncement saying that, of course, it's not in tandem with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So then the question then is, the House of Assembly, led by Martin Ameule, did extend it. That matter is now at the Court of Appeal. Does that in any way give the local government chairman a ground for the arguments they are making, that they want to stay in office?
Look, let's not try to stand the law on its head.
Okay.
Like I said, if you look at the powers of if you look at Section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, it says the system of local government by democratically elected local government official is under this Constitution guaranteed. And accordingly, the government of every state, of the constitution, ensure position, finance, and administration of function. What that means is the State House of Assembly of any state can, for as long as they want, continue to extend tenures of local government officials ad infinitum. And that will defeat the essence of Section 7 of the Constitution, which says a democratically elected government council, which guarantees a democratically elected government. I would have expected, really, this is my opinion though, I would have expected that while all of this, their back and forth were going on, the governor would just conduct a local government. He has all the apparatus of office, he has all the paraphernalia of office, conduct a local government election, so that all of this back and forth, all of these hooplas will be laid to rest. You conduct a local government election, and by yesterday, new members, new chairmen and councillors would have been sworn in, and so this idea of somebody extending the tenure of another person would not be there, because once your tenure expires, a State House of Assembly cannot extend that tenure. Okay. It is ultra vires their power.
We have a commercial.
Like I said,
we have a commercial.
Like I said, okay,
sorry, we have a commercial. Okay. We'll be back. p.m. and yes, Hard Facts continues right about now. I am Canada Kuribatibo, and with me on the show is Liborous Oshoma, a lawyer and a socio-political commentator, and we are looking at the legal ramification of the directive of the governor of Rivers State. Welcome back on the show. It's good to have you, Barrister Oshoma.
Yeah, my pleasure, always.
All right, so before we went on that break, you were trying to explain for us what the law says about extension of tenure, whether it's feasible or not feasible, because in Rivers State, I told you that we had an extension. And I also mentioned, and I made reference to Justice Q, who had annulled that amendment, saying it is not in tandem, it's not in, it does not resonate with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So over to you, your thoughts as you were saying before the break.
Yeah. So, like I said, it is like the National Assembly extending the tenure of a governor.
Okay.
Even though the tenure of the governor is clearly spelled out in the Constitution, while that of the local government chairman is not clearly spelled out. But if that tenure is spelled out in the administration of local government laws of the various states, in some states it is 3 years, in some states it is 4 years. So if it is clearly spelled out in the local government administration law of the state, the court has no power, the State House of Assembly has no power to extend such tenure, because it will defeat the essence of Section 7 that guarantees a democratically elected government at the local government level. But that's governors conducting local government election and not administering local government with caretaker committee. I also said that I would have loved a situation where Governor Fubara, controlling the paraphernalia of office, I would have loved a situation where he would have conducted local government election before now, ensure that new chairmen and councillors have been duly elected, and then all of this issue of whether they are handing over to the most senior officials at the local government level will not be there, because by yesterday, after the tenure, or when the tenure of day before yesterday or so, when the tenure of the previous occupant, expired, all would have been a swearing in, just the way you have governors, the way governors are sworn in and presidents are sworn in. All would have been a swearing in of new elected duly elected officials. But the state governors, what they do is they just love to run administration of local government with caretaker committees, right? And until whether by case law or by statute, we correct that abnormally, we'll continue to have this situation where you have caretaker committees or ad hoc managers at the local government level. So I have not seen anything. I've not seen any directive as you conducted local government election. So you can't ask the local government chairman whose tenure has expired to continue to occupy office in the absence of an election. And also, the best that could happen is once your tenure had expired, you hand over to the most senior administrative head at the local government level, pending when the local government election is conducted. So it's just like an association. Yeah.
Now you've painted a picture for us. It's not such a good picture, I should say, because on one hand you're saying it's against the Constitution for us not to have held local government elections, and on the other hand you're saying the local government cannot stay, or local government chairman cannot stay in office beyond the period assigned to them. But then again, we now have heads of local governments administering or believed to or would begin to administer by tomorrow. Now the question then is, we have a situation where we need elections to be done, to be conducted, and we have another situation where the local government chairman have to go. We agree, but then we're looking, can this work for the time until we solve the situation?
Yes. I just told you, Kalada, this is the 18th state in Nigeria that is administering local government with ad hoc staff, caretaker committees. Before I was 17.
Is this a caretaker committee? Is this a caretaker committee? Can we call it that?
It's an ad hoc arrangement.
Okay.
It's an ad hoc arrangement, whether you like it or not. It's an ad hoc arrangement. Whatever name you call it, whether caretaker, Abia State calls their own mayors. Some people call their own what they would call them liaison officer. In Edo, they once call them liaison officers. You know, any name you want to call them, they are ad hoc. They were not elected by the people. So it's an ad hoc arrangement. They hold office at the behest of the governor that puts them there. So you have 18 today now, 18 states with such an arrangement. It is an ambition, you know, democratic, but it is what it is. Because the constitution, the drafters of our constitution had expected that the state assembly will be able to create a being with the constitution to really define the tenure and administration of local. Unfortunately, it was not so wide to because the second conduction we want to conduct election. Put in staff there because most of the laws will say the local government election will be conducted as at when practicable. When practicable. When practicable is not defined, it is left to the definition of a governor. And so when you now have that, the governor says it is not practicable to conduct a local government election now. And he puts people there. He says, in some cases, he said the state does not have the resources. So until, that is why, in this wisdom, the Attorney General of the Federation approached the Supreme Court recently to say, look, let the funds of the local government go to the local government. So for me, three things we should be talking about: the funds of the local government, the administration of the local government, the tenure of the local government, and elections into the local government office. So that it will be in tandem with the state, elections and the federal elections. So if we are conducting a general election, let's start from the local government elections and their chairman, then we move to the state house of assembly and governors, and then we move to the national assembly and the president. So we all know everybody will fight for their rights, for their slots to be elected. So you stand and fall, you know, with it, and not this attitude of, you know, a tenure is expiring and the governor decide when election would hold. They all do it. It is not new. It is not something that Governor Fubara is just starting. It's all they do it. I can't even this the election to local government in Rivers that conduct before this have vacancies now. You know, there's also the Rivers local government under government. So it's new. It's new. You know, so it is only Lagos that for some time now had consistently why elections, why the new another to ensure that as those ones are leaving office, new ones have been sworn in. It's only Lagos that have consistently been doing that. Most other states, they will come to election and wait for a long time. Anambra under PLB during the election, a lot of people said this, that for 7 years there was no local government election until few months pre the expiration of the office. And the same thing. Governors do the same thing. Look at the list of 17 and Rivers State not making it is bad various political parties. So they all do it. All so, right. But what we should have a situation to avoid all of this back and forth and interpretation or no interpretation. Any of governments expiring, those that are for second term are duly elected, they will go back for second term, and those that are do not eligible or the elected, no one will show the way out. The office will continue to run, not now handing to the carry. The governor wakes up when I don't elect that one local election. The fact that the state level election, they claim councillor and chairman, they 20 by 28, 8, 18 number. In like the state house of assembly has no power to extend the for 1 day, for 1 hour, the tenure of the local government. Don't have that power. Secondly, also, like I said, it's unfortunate that there was no local government election. But right. Lastly, because this year it's new to us in November. It is allowed by state local government administration laws.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to open phone to get from since we've broken down already. It's not novel. It is no state local laws. However, looking at it from both perspectives, the perspectives of the local government and of the Rivers government, that both are in tandem with the constitution of our land. So I would go now to the phone line to get a few comments, take some messages, audio and text, and let's get told. 017923002, 017923003, 081792000. WhatsApp number 0809030641. Yes, I can see your messages. I read them, play them up before you, and we will talk for development. Okay, let's start with JJ, who's calling from Port Harcourt Township. JJ, welcome. What is on your mind?
Some questions.
Okay.
First among the questions is that if the chairman that they said they are tenor and court also quash whatever law that they claim is given them back, if they are still back, we do allow them to carry the agreement. On the emphasize on the autonomy of the local government. If they autonomy to the local government, would they be bringing the money that would they use to conduct their election? Because what many governors have said that there's no money and the condition is not okay. Would they be contributing money for their own elections? Thank you very much.
All right, JJ, thank you very much. We would answer your question, but let's listen to Muriel from Okrika. Muriel, welcome.
Thank you, KDB. Good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
KDB, what is it about our elected, or could I call them officials or leaders? Because I don't even want to call them leaders. What is it about them that they find it so difficult to leave positions when their tenure has expired? Trust me, this local government, they know law of lawmakers. They know they cannot bank me, but yet they just want to hold on to that and then remain in power. What is it? How is it so powerful? My joy is that the governor is not acting in alien, to other states. Other states, any state can practice it. What the governor is doing is a normal thing that others are doing. So it's not as if he's acting in contravention or what they call it. So they know.
But he is, according to the lawyer, he is doing. He's going against the law. That's what they have to explain.
They don't just saying that if the law is not discerned to condemnation, if somebody is here, there is always in for the right person to come. It's not wrong. It happens. So that's exactly what the governor is doing.
Right.
And the law clearly says that at the ensure the local government tenure, the governor should at the election. So persons that want to conduct elections before the experience, we need to get access to election. So that's not the collection. Thank
you very well. So I'm going to throw a question. The first caller asked at you, and painting the picture where the local chairman are allowed to spend extra time in office. Is that a situation? He's asking. And then the second one is, if we say local government, who would conduct local elections?
Two things. When you allow people whose tenure had expired to remain in office, it's a caretaker arrangement.
Okay.
They are caretakers. They are no longer elected.
Okay.
Their tenure had expired. So now it becomes an ad hoc base. And the old office and pleasure of the governor who asked them to remain there. And so they can no longer be called elected local government officials. But their tenure had expired. If you remember also now, there is back forth on scrapping. That is one request from the Federal Attorney General, scrapping of the state electoral, so that we can just have one to conduct both local permanent election. Because one, as crappy as NX is in Oshoma, people were still contesting non-arrival of materials in their area. By Monday, local government chairmen were being sworn in.
All right.
While some persons were still conducting, contesting and non-arrival of materials in their area. So, so there's this debate on scrapping of the state electoral body. So that when we get there, that decision will be taken.
All right then. I'll take one or two more calls. Two more calls because we are almost out of time. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. Now this one says that we finally see a lawyer who is state actor, not speaking from both sides of his mouth like we see these days. These the ones that the side are on. This lawyer, breath of fresh air and emoji. This one says, good evening. You have the men spoken. The likes of Dr. Lloyd and Dr. Wanosike can stay at the LGAs till ad infinitum. Odimegu Sonny Didia from Umerelu. This one says, my name is Comrade Emadu Charles. I want to thank the legal in your studio for allowing us to speak clearly the truth, legality of governor's directive, because okay, I can read that, but Emadu, I have to stop there. But I've brief.
There should be status quo. The status quo is maintained already, but then their tenure has elapsed.
How can they say at the expiration of their tenure, and the governor has come out and make a pronunciation that they should hand over to head of council, and also within this space of time they are sharing machete given to people that is for farming. Did they also give to their family members, their children, who is also supposed to farm? Please, my take this evening is that if they do anything contrary to the order of the government, they'll be asked.
All right, thank you very much. I have to go. I've from here straight to the point. Quickly to the point. We don't have time, please.
Now address this issue.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, Liborous have said it all. You cannot tell me this has been my stand. The whole crisis, the whole brouhaha that is taking place today in Rivers State, the cause of it is at the step of Mr. Governor. But in pretending, trying to push this up to people who they don't even have business which is going on. Now provide the funds. The government told me that he had realized from 12 billion to 27 billion. The money is not in the program. This government has been pushing that people have been peaceful. In fact, the most peaceful state. So he has not given any excuse, but rather it's people that have been taking there from him.
No. Gift. You know, no of names, no calling of names. You wouldn't call a psychopath. Oh, not on my show. Go ahead. This is not America.
Okay,
go ahead.
Now, look at what Oshoma is saying. Do you know that I've been consistent telling you that the House of Assembly has more power than the governor in terms of the local government affairs and the run of local government? But here's a partisan who come and tell you as if the governor is a key authority that is creating a construct, and that is a lie. The reason why the House of Assembly did this, they suspended him. He never made any steps.
All right, Gifts, so I've got to go.
Even the Attorney General, if you look at that suit, they talked about where House of Assembly should force the governors.
All right.
Like what Liborous or Oshoma is saying.
All right, thank you very much, Gifts. All right,
all
right, thank you. I've got to go. My time is almost up. And back to you, Barrister Oshoma. Someone raised a very good conversation when he was airing his views, and he said the police. He mentioned the police. What path do you think the police should toe in this situation? I mean, looking at the divide in Rivers State, you have just mentioned that the governor not holding elections is wrong. You have also said that the local governments wanting to stay in office is wrong. But however, the heads of local governments can stay and administer local governments because it is something the state local government laws allow. So how do you think the
quickly don't confuse this issue.
Okay,
I said that this arrangement is an ad hoc arrangement, and it is it's what they all do. So that is why it's condemned. Especially when you have 18 states out of 36 not having duly elected local government chairmen. Imagine having 18 states not having duly elected governors, and the president ruling them with ad hoc arrangements. We won't have democracy. So all these governors should be told to conduct local government election so that all of these arrangements won't have it. So everybody, you now know that you have duly elected local governments.
All right.
So that's basically what I said. It's really, let me one thing. The police are supposed to be neutral in all of this. Ensure that there is no breakdown of law and everybody, irrespective of the bad that person belong. Once life and property, the police should ensure that peace. Is the governors will do not control the police, will control the but when they have issues with you, is when you know they control police.
I'm sorry, I've got to let you go. Really, my time is up. Well, I've got to say goodbye. Thank you very much. Really sorry. All right. Yeah, thank you very much. All right.